Hello, everyone, and welcome to the CE Sports Sky League Finals Community Chat. Here with us today is Froggy and Sammy BT of the victorious Mandarins.
Hello, buddy.
And also, hello indeed. And also with us is Hillerton and Mysterious Medic, the honorable runner-ups of the Crimson Skyriders.
Hello.
And obviously, of course, Imagine 42 and us, my broadcast colleagues, will be joining you in grilling these teams.
Absolutely.
And, right.
Getting down to the nitty-gritty.
Yes, indeed. I think the first question on everyone's minds is double carronades. Why? That was to you, Crimson Skyriders.
I mean, it frequently
what
works.
you're saying. Medic, you want to answer?
Well, we were figuring since the biggest weakness of the Junker is usually the balloon, that he could take down the hull armor with those double carronades, and then I could swoop in with the mortar and finish you guys off.
Now,
I mean, every time there was a good focus fire, when there's two carronades, a Gatling, and a mortar on a Junker, the Junker's dead. I don't care what you're doing. So, I mean, and you definitely saw that in a lot of engagements where they were just able to quickly swoop in and just pick up some kills. It's definitely
there were definitely a few good engages, but I'm just wondering about the mindset that led you guys to switch from your standard build that you've used, I believe, pretty much every single time to get this far in the tournament, and then in the final stage just completely change it for something different.
I got the feeling that they had been watching matches and they'd seen that the times when the Mandarins had the most trouble was versus blenders. So, I mean, when I saw that they were taking blenders, I was like, okay, these guys have been doing their homework, and when Overwatch beat us in that one match, it was both with blender loadouts. So I thought that there was a more threatening build than Hades, in my opinion.
What do you think, Crimson Skyriders?
Well,
was it a tough
essentially,
choice?
I mean, we figured that the Hades just wouldn't hit enough since the Junker is too small. I think that's what we were thinking most of the time.
I think that's absolutely correct in my opinion. I think the Hades. I'm going to be a little more open now. Normally I'm really tight-lipped during community chats. I'm super paranoid, but that was actually my last competitive match, so I'm just going to spill my guts here. I think the Hades is a really bad anti-Junker weapon because you just can't. It's really hard to hit the hull. So I think carronades were absolutely a solid choice. I think maybe double carronade was a little too much. It's nice to have like a weapon that shoots down, which I know is one of the reasons why Overwatch takes the flame. But yeah, I think taking a blender was absolutely the right thing to do.
Well, so here's my question. When you guys, because okay, I got the idea behind it, and double carronade against Junkers. Yeah, I get it. But it started out not working, and then it continued to not work. So I was my question would be, did you ever think about switching it back to what you had previously used, because you found that, especially after the first game, that it just wasn't quite working maybe the way that you envisioned it?
Well, I mean, we had done several practices against Junkers with it, and I mean, of course, not every Junker is going to have the focus fire that the Mandarins have, but we were thinking mechanically it was working. Mechanically.
Fair enough.
All right. Well, let's go through it match by match. Firstly, Fjords. That was a rough game.
I didn't think it was a rough game.
Well, I'm not from your point of view, Sammy. Where did things go? I mean, a little bit wrong on Fjords, do you feel, Crimson Skyriders?
Do you want to answer that, Hillerton?
Hillerton seems to be having Skype issues.
Yep.
He said in the chat he's restarting Skype, so it's all you, Medic.
Oh, all right. Well, essentially, what was suggested to us was that Hillerton would go in front of me and then I would go over him, and then it would make it so that you couldn't focus down a ship fast enough. But it just wasn't working like that. You focused down Hillerton like way too fast for us to be able to get in, and yeah, that was the main problem I think. Because once Hillerton was
Messieurs,
down,
were you the Solis or were you the Ulferberter?
He's
I was
over.
Ulfbert, yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Now,
Yeah, you
I
always
was
focus down
noticing
on
this.
Salt.
I noticed the Solus Autumn. It did a job of kind of blending them down, and he actually survived sort of 2-on-1 situations far longer than he had any right to. Uh, but yeah, I mean, there just wasn't enough damage. I mean, you have to fall so far in fjords before those carronades will start grinding them against the floor, or you can get a good Goomba stomp or whatever. It just, yeah, it was a really tricky build to use on fjords. I feel. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think blending on fjords is, from my perspective, it's maybe not quite as effective because of the high flight ceiling. And also, there's just a lot of open ground you have to cover in order to get within blending range. And that's one of the things we worked on during our practices was picking spots where we knew we would have maximum, where they would have to approach over a maximum distance, so we could have as much focus fire as possible. So I think if you compare that approach to something like Overwatch, like first when we played Overwatch on fjords, they
Frogger,
took
you seem to have
two
gone a bit.
Hades Artemis Piras, yeah. 'Cause they wanted that extra range, which I think was probably a tactically sound decision, although they just came up against the Hades and Junker hitbox wall, which is practically insurmountable unless you have godlike gunners on your Hades. It's just really tough to get those hits in. So taking blenders on fjords, it can still work, but you have to be super aggressive. You have to scramble their targeting as much as possible, and you got to move really quickly, or else we'll take you out before you get within range. That was basically our goal for each engagement, was do as much as you can with the left side, and right side is a last ditch thing.
Fair enough. Okay. Any other comments on fjords before we move on? For anyone? No, good. Right.
No?
Okay. Now the second match was on Parrot and Rumble. Now, yeah, I noticed the Mandarins stayed sort of very high, and they kind of sort of circled around the map for a lot of the time. Can you tell me a bit more about that, Sammy and Frogger?
We don't like staying in one place. Contrary to popular opinion, we really don't see ourselves as, a snipey build. We just kind of see ourselves as mobile long range. And we kind of know once we stop moving, that just allows them to figure out a place to attack us. But honestly, it ended up not working, didn't it? We moved into an engagement too close, and y'all picked
actually,
up
on the contrary, it did work. The only time you guys were on the back foot was when I think the Admiral Quackbar kind of charged in because he wanted that one-on-one kill, but the blue spawn was too close, and then then you got double teamed by two Junkers, Sammy.
Mm-hmm.
Right, two pairs.
Yeah, they had a really good
two
engagement.
Pairs. Yeah.
I did notice that you Skyriders had at one point just kind of like stopped engaging, and you were just flying down really low, like under bridges and everything. Were you guys like discussing what you were trying to do, or was that some like an ambush tactic?
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of that we were trying to figure it out because obviously our charges were just not working at all. So Hillerton was trying to figure it out, and we were trying to see if we could get behind you or something.
Now, what I just found was really effective about the Mandarins, what they were doing, is they were just circling around the map, kind of keeping the arcs of their Artemis and their Hades sort of inside the circle, which was basically in the entire map. And that's when you stumbled upon the Solus Autumn and the Ulfbert, they were kind of facing the wrong way. But your guns were automatically facing the right way in that engage.
We have a habit of going counterclockwise on. Yeah. I mean, we do call it an orbit where counterclockwise orbit. We always make sure to have the left side facing the middle because that's our longer range, and the right side facing the outside in case they do sneak up on us. We have a Gat mortar ready for there, but I mean that definitely is intentional. And a map like Periton, you can do that because it has that high flight ceiling, and while there's a lot of cover, there's just a lot of long firing lanes you can make use of.
Yeah, right. So I'm trying to remember the last engage a bit better. Exactly what happened?
Do
you remember,
Yeah,
Imagine?
yeah. The Skyriders were, I think even the Soulstorm actually bumped into a building right as the engage started.
Oh,
And they were
yes, that's
turned the
what I
wrong way.
remember. Yeah, there was a great ram on the Admiral Quackbar, I think, but the Admiral Quackbar kind
I
of
think it
just
was on
sort
the
of
denting
swiveled to the
feather.
side.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It was one of the two. I'm sure you can tell me which one it was. One of the two junkers just sort of swiveled around after it was rammed and then just finished it off with a gap mortar. Because I think the ram actually damaged the Pyramidion that was ramming.
Oh, was that when I had lost my balloon frog and I was just falling? No, that was during the fjords.
That was right. That was right. That was right at the end of Parison.
Actually, I can't
It
remember.
it did
how Pearson
happen.
ended.
I'm
can't
I'm sure
remember,
it
actually.
did. I'm not calling you a liar.
I have video evidence. Okay, it will stand up in court. In any event, yeah, that's how it ended. So there, even though
Yes.
you seem to have all forgotten this.
To answer your
In
question,
any-
yes.
Anyway, so yes, another victory for the Mandarin. Anyone got any comments on Paris and Rumble before we move on? Nope. Okay. Right. Moving on to our final match, which was Cambush. Now, yeah. Oh golly. Yeah. The started off the Crimson Skyriders just charged right in there. They didn't. And not only that, I noticed that. I think the ticks went down really quick. Again, the Crimson Skyriders just didn't even consider changing that build, and they just went right in there. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think perhaps maybe they waited for a better engage. I don't know. What do you guys think?
See, red spawn is awkward for us because we don't like just sitting in the back, but we like knowing where they are. So we're kind of conflicted. So we just got really lucky. They happened to go through that little, we call it the nook area, but basically they kind of went through right where
The
it would
east
have
side
been
of it.
best for us. So we got really lucky during that first engagement, and we just happened to be right where they were popping out. We were actually expecting them to come through the middle, if I recall.
Yeah.
We were able to quickly react.
Hillerton says they should have waited, but they only had a week to train it all, so they were just being super aggressive.
Yeah, I think Hillerton's having trouble with the Skype. You can only hear half the conversations, he's told me. Which kind of sucks because he's been kind of
the brains behind the operation.
Yeah, because I just subbed in for Luosi. Since when he disappeared, that's the only reason I got into this. I never really expected to be a pilot, and especially not in the Sky League.
Right.
It's a little difficult there.
Now,
are y'all
I
currently
feel-
in TeamSpeak? That often messes up Skype.
I think we both turned off the mumble. We were in mumble, but I think he turned it off as well as I did.
I like you turn off the application
Yeah.
because sometimes
Yeah,
I've noticed
I think
sometimes Skype is weird about there being other audio things. It's very jealous of its audio.
Skype is jealous mistress, indeed. Well, yes.
They did.
So
I was that yeah. After the initial engagement, the Skyriders definitely did just kind of take it back a notch, and then you had a really good engage in that like right around the lip of the blue area.
Yeah.
What what was going through both teams' heads at that point? Like, as a Ducks, where you were like, okay, that was bad. Let's not do that again.
There was a miscommunication. Sammy, one of the ships was kind of hiding around the rock that forms the entrance to the
Right.
canyons, and I
I
didn't
didn't realize. I didn't realize
and
Frogger couldn't see it and didn't have a shot.
I didn't
So we had
pull
a
forward
split
far
fire.
enough. I didn't pull forward far enough. If I pulled forward a bit farther, I think we would have had it there. But we just miscommunicated. I didn't see the other ship, and I didn't hear that Sammy was already engaging that ship. And they managed to focus us down one by one, which is exactly as they should have done. So
And our ships really do not do split fire very well. As devastating as double Hades is, a singular Hades is pretty poor at breaking armor,
Yeah.
especially Lesmog.
that's another thing
So-
about the Mandarin's build. You've got to have both of those left sides on a target in order for it to really do work. The single Artemis double Hades is really sporadic in its ability to do any damage at all. I actually think that's part of the reason why a lot of teams have tried and given up that sort of Mandarin style left side, because if you just use one, it's like whatever. But once you get two of those sides on an enemy, they just evaporate. It's weird. There's like some mathematical line that's crossed, and ships just start dying. it's really interesting.
We were realizing that Frog and I were doing a one-on-one practice against each other, just my ship against his ship, and we just couldn't kill each other. We
Yeah,
were
it's
just
crazy.
blasting away at each other for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, I mean,
We
we
just
have
could not
really-
break armor.
We have really, really good Hades gunners, and those guys were hitting really consistently, about as consistently as anyone can hit. And it just took literally like a minute and a half to get a kill in with all guns.
So it really is about that focus fire. It is so
Yeah.
vital to the double junkers that we fly. And so when we get
Right,
split up,
well,
we get messed up.
I feel that we were saying was that when it was 4-0, when the Crimson Skyriders were just like one death away from losing the game, that was when they finally got that perfect engage that I feel they were just waiting for the whole time.
Yeah.
Just the carronade Pirate, I think, came in from the side.
We
and
got a
then
really nice ram as well, which like threw
Yeah.
off all sorts of gun arcs, I think.
yeah.
It rammed Frogger out, then focused on me, quickly killed the balloon. As soon as the balloon was down, the Gat finished off the armor, and love of God, permahole on Junker is pretty pathetic. So I went down, Frogger, and so Frogger was alone. He didn't have a shot. And so yeah,
Once,
no, it was
once
a
I
really
killed-
good engagement.
So
Once I
They
killed
got that
one
good
of
initial
us-
ram, and just no, they completely messed us up there.
so
Fair
what
well
was
done
your
there.
Skyrider's side? You know, what'd you guys think after you finally got those 2 kills, being down 4-0?
Well, actually, at the first kill, we wanted to wait the spawn time because we noticed that the ducks often tried to spawn together, which we didn't want to happen. So if you kind of look back, we were yelling at our crew, "Don't fire the mortar." But it didn't even matter, actually, because we were way too far away from the spawn. But, yeah.
I was wondering about that because one of the things is we try to communicate whether or not the other guy's gonna die, and Fargo's like, yeah, I'm gonna die, but just it never happened.
Yeah.
It's like, why isn't he dead yet? That explains a lot. Definitely a valid tactic, though.
For sure.
All right, well, okie dokie. Now, I believe in the end, I think after that perfect engage, it was just really hard for the Crimson Skyrise to really set one up again.
There was a
the
lot of
yeah, the
circling around.
Yeah, a lot of circling. Mandarins just kept moving. And I noticed that, you went to the mouth of their spawn, the canyon. When you
Right.
spotted them, you just kind of moved back, then you moved forward, you kind of kept the distance just about right. And then you took advantage. They were kind of basically moving from cover to cover, I think.
Mhm.
So they
Yep,
could kind of get a better position on you. But you just took right advantage of that. You just kind of wailed on them with the Artemis and Hades.
Yeah, we saw
knew
that we
they had lost
disabled their.
engines.
We saw that we disabled their engines, so we went ahead and just pushed on them right there. We knew that the Ulfbert had no engines. We were a little worried about the Solus getting the carronade on us, but you have to take advantage of situations like that because that was basically it was effectively a 2v1, and you have to seize
And
opportunities like that.
We knew we just
You only
needed
needed one kill at that point anyway, yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
Okay,
Frogger
right.
gets sick of it, but whenever we have 4 kills and a few deaths to spare on our side, I'm just so consistently charge. We should just charge. Let's go straight at him. Move it. Blow the water. Let's go. Ah!
Yeah, I think we
Doesn't matter
saw
if we
that happen on Pair and Rumble as well, actually, at the end there. Just
Yep,
kind of like,
just got
all right,
stacked.
screw it, just need one more.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, well, right. Any more comments on the Canyon Ambush match before we go to the wrap-up portion?
Guess
like
not.
no,
Let's go to
nothing.
lightning
Brilliant.
round.
Right, there we go to the lightning round. Okay, I'll take famous gardeners for 300. Okay. Anyway, right. So, there we have it. Congratulations to the Mandarins on winning the Sky League.
Thank you.
I've heard from Sammy before that it was going to be his last match as a competitive pilot. And now
Mine
I'm
as
hearing
well,
from you,
actually,
Frogger, that it'll be
Yeah, I
yours as
think-
well.
Yep.
Yeah, I think so. We really we really put everything we had into the Sky League, and happily we were rewarded for it. But it's really stressful, and we play a lot, we practice a lot, and we've been at it for a long time. I've been a competitive pilot since June of last year. I know Sammy's been one since I think March or
Yeah.
April, and I think we just we've had a lot of. There's been more good than bad. We've won a lot, and we've done pretty well for ourselves. I think we're just kind of ready to try something else.
Well,
So are you
yes,
moving away
ending
from
it on a
the
high.
game in total, or are you just?
No, I'm gonna
still
I'm
be
gonna
around.
cut back. Yeah, we'll still be around. I'm gonna
I'll still be
probably,
like we're gonna still administrate the ducks, things like that. Just
yeah, I'm gonna float
we're
around
just
as a
not
sub
pilot.
and just don't. It's so stressful. I mean, the difference between the captaining game and the crewing game, it's just like I can crew and not even like it's like whack-a-mole basically. Like, oh, the hull's down, let me hit it with my mallet. It's down again. It's whack-a-mole. It's simple. It's relaxing. I like it.
Oh.
Piloting though, the entire game is just like it's all on you. 90% of the mistakes that are made in games are the pilots. When you lose, chances are it's your fault as a pilot.
Yeah, this is
So-
this is true.
Yes, indeed. Anyway, well, so will this be the end of the Mandarins team, or will we see new duck teams to rise up in their stead?
I think we're going to see some new duck teams. The Waddling is still in training. It's got 2 solid captains now and a full crew, so they're going to be working on some new strategies. I think the Mandarins are probably finished. The Mandarins. I think the Mandarins is pretty much me and Sammy, and maybe if one of us stuck around, we could keep the name. But it's probably time to retire the jersey, so to speak. So I think we'll hopefully see another duck team rise up in its place.
Right, fair enough. Okay.
Definitely.
so-
Thanks to the Skyrider side as well. I mean, even though I'm sure it didn't end up the way you had envisioned it, it's going to be a tough hill to climb, regardless. I think in the finals.
Well, second place in in the biggest Guns of Icarus tournament ever, I believe, in terms of number of teams that entered. Yeah, second place, pretty damn respectable, I would say.
Nothing to sneeze at.
Absolutely.
Nothing to sneeze at. Yes, Crimson Skyriders, of course, champions of the Aerodome, champions of Sunday Rumbles and Saturday Box Socials alike, I'm sure. They will go on to win many, many more. In any event, any kind of things that you two teams kind of want to say to each other? Any messages to your opponents in these finals?
I mean, I guess I'd just like to say thanks to all the teams involved, and also to the organizers. I really, we had a lot of fun with it, a lot of stress and tension, but also a lot of fun. Fantastic opponents, Thralls, Overwatch, the Skyriders, really, really tough guys, and we're having a tougher time now than at any point in our previous competitive history, I would say. So it's really, it's encouraging to see people kind of figure out some new approaches to the meta and
Yeah.
start,
the community, the competitive scene's only getting harder.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
And we hope to see that trend continue. Of course, make for some fine matches in the future.
Absolutely. Just
Yep,
one
I-
last thing. Just would like to say thank you to Overwatch. They're helping us practice, and they've been really good buddies to us during the Sky League. So thanks, Ace and Ridley and Puppy and all the crew. Thank you guys.
Yeah, to say thanks to Thralls and Mad Hatters as well. They've practiced with us consistently this last week too. So
Oh, and an apology to anyone that we pupped against while practicing. We're sorry we horribly stacked the lobby, but we needed to train.
Fair enough. Yes. Okay. Well, so it's a happy swan song for the Mandarins, Sammy and Frogger. A jolly good Sky League. And there we have it, folks. We come to the end of this tournament, but I'm sure C Sports will be putting on many great events. The Sunday Rumble, I know, should be making its return, right, Urs? I'll take that as a yes very soon. And yes, well, I guess there's nothing else to say, but yes,
Can we
thank
get a
you
quack
to all
quack,
the teams.
Rick?
Quack, quack.
I may begrudgingly give one after I finish with this little spiel. Yes. Thank you to all the teams who participated. You're all brilliant. I love you all. Especially myself, I participated as well. And yes, thank you to everyone who helped organise the event. Thank you to Urs and Imagine. And
to all the other casters we had as well.
yeah.
I think Fourth
and to all the
Oracle.
casters. Oh, Fourth Oracle, yes. Thank you so much, Fourth Oracle. And thank you, Zemko, as well. He did stream as well. But anyway, yes, this has been it. Congratulations, finally, of course, to our champions, the Mandarins. Quack, quack. There we go. Right. Okay. Well,
Breaking
thank you
news,
everyone
Brick
for joining
Hardcastle
us.
joins the Ducks.
Oh, God, no.
Leaves BFS to join the Duck clan to lead up a new team.
Just the only
All right.
reason I didn't join the Ducks originally, do you know why it was, Sammy? I didn't
Why?
want to give my ship a duck name. I just thought it was too silly.
That's funny. That's really
But can you imagine my junker, the Goosanagi?
Oh man! Wow.
Anyway, okay.
Oh, man.
But before we get too far into duck-related jokes, thank you everyone. This has been the Community Esports Sky League Finals. Thank you and goodbye.
Good night, everyone.
Peace out.